Welcome to Tales of the Getaway Guy, an adventure into 23 years of TV getaways all across New York State and beyond. Our travels will occasionally venture into 23 years of radio days where my broadcasting career began. Hold on, I've got everything you're going to need for your next getaway. Hello again, Mike O'Brien, your Getaway Guy. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Talk about a ride. I've got a great day trip for you and the whole family, or just the two of you, or maybe just by yourself. It's a great hidden gem in the Finger Lakes, and I'll tell you more about it in just a second. I want to talk about great. How about a farm market that is great, that's been around forever? I'm talking about our good friends and partner, Powers Farm Market in Pittsford. These people do it right. And if you've ever been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Can we say fresh baked goods? Wow. 161 Marsh Road, Pittsford. It's a wonderful farm market all year round. And right now, yes, fresh pies, fresh baked goods. You know the sign. You see it right there on Marsh Road as you go by. This time of year, they've got all your plants and geraniums and hanging baskets. Great stuff for the garden. But also they have great stuff for kids. That's why it's a great family getaway. They've been a partner of our show for a while, and we thank them so very, very much. Powers Farm Market. Hey, sweet corn is available right now, too. And boy, is it good. And I hear the cherries are good, too. Hey, let's check out this getaway. It's in the Finger Lakes. If you love day trips, who doesn't? And you just want to get out of town for a little bit, and you need a little peace and relaxation. This is like a religious experience, although it's not religious at all, unless you want it to be. Well, enough about it. Let's go on the ride right now. Yes, today, a secret getaway, a hidden gem if you're looking for peace and quiet and an escape from everyday life. This is a great getaway, and it's not too far away. Welcome to Garrett Chapel. Yeah, there are hushed tones when you get there because you're in the presence of this amazing chapel. Look at the stonework. This thing has been there since 1929. It was built as a memorial to the son who died as a young man due to tuberculosis. This Garrett family was unbelievable, and look what they made back in the early 1900s. You can go into the chapel, like I'm doing right here, and see the absolute beauty of this hidden gem in the Finger Lakes. And I'll tell you how to get there in just a second. This chapel sits on the site of one of the world's largest wine producers back then. Most of the grapes were grown right here on the site of the chapel, Garrett Chapel. In a moment, like I say, I'll tell you exactly how to get there. It's on the shores of Keuka Lake. Speaking of which, the views from Garrett Chapel on the outside of the chapel are unbelievable. Yeah, there's a staircase. It'll take you down into the gardens down below. And this is just where the view is. And if you can see there, the view of Keuka Lake is just astonishing. There I am praying to figure out how to get home. No, that's not true. But it's just absolutely beautiful there. There's the view. Can you believe it? That's Keuka Lake. You're in outside of Branchport, Bluff Point. It's a beautiful, beautiful structure. And you can walk around the grounds. You can even get inside Garrett Chapel. But here's the travel tip. It's open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 4 o'clock. Do not go on the weekends, because the weekends are filled with people, and they do weddings there, a lot of weddings. So I've been told by the groundskeeper, David, who, by the way, remembered me from 20 years ago going to the chapel and filming there when I was doing my show on Channel 9. He remembered me, and talk about a great memory. But there I was, back again to Garrett Chapel. It hasn't changed at all. It's just as beautiful, if not more beautiful, today. But again, Tuesdays, Thursdays from 1 to 4 o'clock, your best times to go. Weekends filled, because the chapel is booked solid all the weekends in the future for weddings. And he said also there are rehearsals going on usually Friday afternoons, early evenings. So things to keep in mind. You don't want to go there when there are a lot of people there. You want to go when it's quiet and peaceful, like I was there. I was there on a Tuesday between 1 and 4. Perfect time to go. So again, avoid the weekends. Go there from 1 to 4. Tuesdays, Thursdays, that's your best time to go. It is handicapped accessible, by the way. Once you pass the chapel, you will see off the roadway a little turn in on your left-hand side, and that will give you access to a parking lot that is handicapped accessible, and then you're able to get to the chapel itself. But it's absolutely beautiful. Even if you don't get inside the chapel, the grounds are just wonderful. They really are. And again, this is a getaway that's just takes you to peace, quiet, serenity, and lets you just breathe for a minute from everything you've been through during the week or weekend. It's a great place to go. And I just found myself really relaxed once I got there, and you will too. It's again, a place that's open to the public. It's free of charge. It's just easy to get to, and I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. I want to tell you a little bit about Jim's for breakfast. Before you leave the house, out of Rochester possibly, stop at Jim's. Grab yourself some breakfast. Jim's on Main is a wonderful diner that I've been going to forever. In fact, this morning I took my grandson, Hunter, to Jim's, his first time there. So he ate all the little jellies on the table. Okay. Talk about sugar intake. But if you go by yourself, grab a good breakfast. It's cheap, it's inexpensive, and the people there are fantastic too. Jim's on Main, down from the Auditorium Theater in Rochester. And they also have Jim's at Grease Ridge, the mall at Grease Ridge, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Cash only, so know that. But it's great for a good cup of coffee. Jim's, one of my faves. Getting back to Garrett Chapel, let me tell you exactly how to get there. So you're on the road, and you're driving. And again, you're off of Route 54A out of Penn Yan. To get to Penn Yan, just Route 14, head south from 5 and 20 out of Canandaigua. You'll get into Penn Yan, turn right onto Route 54A, travel a good 6 or 7 miles until you see the sign and the entrance to Keuka Lake State Park. It's just down the road from Esperanza up on the hill, so that gives you an idea where it is. But it's Route 54A before you get to Branchport, just out of Penn Yan, a few miles. Take that road straight until you come to Skyline Drive. Skyline Drive. Take a right and follow this road all the way down. It's a winding road eventually, and there you see it with trees on the side. It's beautiful through there. In the fall, it's just outstanding. And then eventually, on your left, looking down into the valley, you'll see the chapel. And there it is. And it's just, and you can park right there on the side of the road, which is perfect. Or, like I say, handicapped accessibility, a little bit further on down the road. And from there, you'll be able to park. And there's even a little porta-john down there, too, if you need to use that. But Garrett Chapel, it's one of the hidden gems in the Finger Lakes that not a lot of people know about. And now you do. And if you want to just kind of escape from everything, there you go. Great getaway. I highly recommend it. Like I say, I was there 20 years ago, and nothing has changed. It's even more beautiful today. The history is remarkable. And the beauty is breathtaking, especially on a beautiful day. And like I say, if you go in the fall, those trees that you saw in full color, they don't make it any better than that. Garrett Chapel, a highly recommended getaway from the Getaway Guy. I hope you'll check it out. Tell him if you see Dave, the groundskeeper, that I sent you, and he'll chase you away immediately. No, he won't. All are welcome, and you'll enjoy it. Here's a travel tip, by the way. When you're in Penn Yan, again, you've traveled to Penn Yan, you take a right on Route 54A to get into Keuka Lake State Park. But in Penn Yan, as you're just leaving the village of Penn Yan, if you're hungry, there's a great place called Seneca Farms. It looks like it's an old Kentucky Fried Chicken building, but not quite. But it's called Seneca Farms. And speaking of chicken, they make outstanding fried chicken, and they make their own homemade ice cream. Joe, are we hungry yet or what? Joe said to me the other day, he said, "You're showing more food? This is crazy." I went, "I know." But Seneca Farms is outstanding. You're going to love it there. But the homemade ice cream is like, wow. And no one, well, the locals know about Seneca Farms, and now you do too. So if you're hungry, that's one of my recommendations if you're down in that area of good old Penn Yan, New York. I want to talk about another great getaway in New York State called Catherine Cottages. Catherine Cottages, another show that I did on cable like 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago. I was doing a series on little cabin getaways. Well, I found Catherine Cottages down in Montour Falls. If you're going to the gorge at Watkins Glen or you're doing the Finger Lakes Wine Trail near Watkins Glen, Montour Falls is just right out of town, and that's where you'll find Catherine Cottages. Rustic, comfort, dog friendly. Check them out. Their weekends are pretty much booked, but you can get a great deal on a weekday reservation right on the creek. Look at that. Is that like the best? And these cottages, this is my kind of camping on a nice mattress with a shower and a microwave and the sounds of nature on the outside. Catherine Cottages, go to catherinecottages.com. Make your weekday reservation now. Even in the fall, there may be some openings, and you'll want to be there in the fall for sure. Catherine, Catharin, cottages.com. Tell them the Getaway Guy sent you. Good people and a great getaway for sure. We do a podcast question every podcast, and this one comes to us from Joe in Palmyra. And Joe writes, "Dear Getaway Guy, I love your getaway to Howe Caverns you showed a few weeks ago. Is there anything closer that is similar to that?" Joe, thanks very much for the question. Yes, what first came to mind when I saw your question was the Lockport Caves. Have you ever heard of it? Lockport, New York, about an hour out of Rochester. It's so easy to get to. Howe Caverns, central New York, Schoharie County near Cooperstown. That's about a 4-hour trip, and it's outstanding. But if you want something closer and you want to get underground where it's cool, especially with the heat we've been going through lately, check out Lockport Caves. This is so bizarre. It's an underground walkway and a boat ride and a tour of the canals. It's all wrapped up into one package, and they do such a nice job there. Lockportcave.com is their website. Go to it, check it out. That's where you can buy your tickets. In my estimation, it might be just a little pricey. Adults are $27.55 plus tax. Where do they come up with the $27.55? I'll never know. Ages 6 to 14, $18.42, and ages 5 and under are $7.35 plus tax. But you know, it's an experience that you've probably never done before. Lockport Caves, lockportcave.com. These are underground caves where they actually channeled water to power factories up above. What an ingenious idea long ago. That's the history. Well, they don't do that anymore. We have this thing called electricity. And so now you can still go through those caves. It's nice and cool down there, a little respite from the heat. But there's also a boat ride down there. And like I say, you're, I believe, around locks number 67 through 71. You'll get a tour up top, which is fascinating as well. So the whole thing is quite cool. And, you know, the Erie Canal has great historical integrity, and that'll be a part of this tour. But if you're looking for something a little bit cooler underground this time of year, Lockport Cave, it's a good getaway. It really is, and it's not that far away. Joe, I hope I helped you out with your question. If you have a question for the Getaway Guy, just email the question to me, Mike, thegetawayguy@gmail.com. Mike, thegetawayguy@gmail.com. And by the way, if you're looking for a travel book, I have 2 of them right here. These are must-needs for this time of year. 50 getaways in each one. And Volume 2 actually has some haunted getaways as well as regular day trips in New York State. So here's the deal. You just let me know what you need, and I'll sign them to whoever you want. Just email me at mikethegetawayguy@gmail.com for the Getaway Guy travel books. And if you order Volume 2, I throw in Volume 1 for free. Do I sound like a book salesman or what? But that's the deal. You can also buy my books at Powers Farm Market, Marsh Road, Pittsford, and Lift Bridge Bookshop in the village of Brockport. They carry the books as well. So there you go. But again, the email address is mikethegetawayguy@gmail.com. Let me know what you need, and I'll tell you all the details, okay? And if you have a question, like I say, for the podcast, same place to go, mikethegetawayguy@gmail.com. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show today. Thank you, Powers Farm Market, for making this possible. Great people over on Marsh Road. Oh, and did I tell you about the fresh sweet cherries that they have? Now, they go through the stuff fast. You know, they pick, in my estimation, they probably pick everything, including the sweet corn, first thing, and then they sell out, and then you got to wait for the next day. So get there early in the morning. I believe they open at 9 o'clock. They're open every day. Powers Farm Market, Marsh Road. Everything from live animals for the kids to fresh market goods, including the fresh sweet corn and cherries and a lot of potted plants. It's just a nice place to go this time of year. Thank you, Powers. Thanks also to Jim's on Main Street. And thanks to Catherine Cottages for being on our show. Thanks to Joe here at Classy Wolf Media. And thank you for coming along for the ride today. We'll have more next time. Remember, go to The Getaway Guy on Facebook to see all the shows. That's The Getaway Guy on Facebook. Search it out, check it out, and enjoy all the getaways that we have for you. Until next time, I'm Mike O'Brien, your Getaway Guy.